So in this segment, we're going to be discussing a book which claims that Johnson admits he had no plan for Brexit. And yeah, it's nothing too surprising, in my opinion, but at least we got a more detailed description of what was happening in kind of the Leave team post winning the referendum result. And it is it's sad. Because they duped the country. So a shocked Boris Johnson declared, quote, "We've got no plan," end quote, and quote, "Holy crap, what will we do?" End quote. Hopefully that's not a swear and I won't get demonetised. When he realised Vote Leave had won the 2016 referendum, according to a new book, the former Prime Minister was a key figurehead in the campaign, spearheading its cause with his energy, rip-roaring speeches. And he was a key player in it. You know, in my opinion, and based on the things I've read post-referendum, Johnson never intended to win. He wanted to lose a tight race and use that to go into the next Tory leadership race, winning over the ERG and the Eurosceptics, as David Cameron promised he would not run again to be PM after the 2015 general election, meaning that Johnson had a clear run to be leader in 3 to 4 years from there after the referendum. He had no plan for if they won, so his plan would have lined up perfectly had the Leave team not won. But there have long been questions over how much his heart was in the campaign, not least after he admitted he had prepared pro-Leave and pro-Remain articles before he joined the push for Leave. Now a new book written by Anthony Selden and Raymond Newell outlines Mr Johnson was shocked as their results trickled in, and we'll be talking a bit more about these two in a different video. And you have to watch out for stuff like this because they're obviously doing this to promote a book, so they'll make some potentially outlandish claims to get initial promotion. The question is, will the book back up the claims? The book Johnson at Number 10 says Johnson watched coverage of the referendum vote results on TV all night at his home in Islington. After disappearing to bed for just 20 minutes, he re-emerged in a Brazil football shirt and shorts, looking distraught. He repeatedly said, quote, "What the hell is happening?" End quote. And now this sounds a bit weird, but pretty believable given what we know that Johnson did not really want Brexit, and he's the kind of guy to wear a Brazil top. He's a weirdo. So yeah, it's not too surprising that because he didn't win, and it was very surprising the Leave team won. He appeared devastated when David Cameron and his wife Samantha emerged from Downing Street, bringing an end to Cameron's time as PM, saying, quote, "Oh my God, look at Sam, God, poor Sam," end quote. Johnson is reported to have said, and Johnson having empathy is something I would not really believe in, but I think he thought he had more time. You know, Cameron promised to stay on regardless of the result, probably because he did not want to give people more reasons to vote for Brexit given how unpopular he was. And I know he won the election in 2015, but no one really liked the geezer, let's be honest. Some people voted Brexit, like Danny Dyer did, just to stick it to Cameron because no one liked him. But Cameron went, and he and his wife probably stayed up all night watching the result. They looked a right state, but not as bad as Johnson did the day after the referendum. You know, Johnson and Gove looked absolutely shot, probably because they had no idea what to do now, or what to do at that point. You know, then shortly after he said, quote, "OS, we've got no plan. We haven't thought about it. I didn't think this would happen. Holy crap, what will we do?" End quote. The book says that his friends never saw him more frightened than at this point. And this is a guy, you know, Johnson, according to Dominic Cummings, who didn't know the difference between the single market and the customs union. Maybe he thought he could get a bespoke deal of some sort, but we know they never had a plan. You know, they made so many different promises. We could be like Norway or Switzerland, who have different relationships with the EU, or get a Canada triple plus deal. Canada, which has a free trade agreement with the EU, nothing really more than that. Or even a new kind of deal, all different kinds of deals. This shows from the jump they had no idea what they were talking about. All of these things are different things, and there was the idea that we could shape a new relationship with the EU, but they never really put pen to paper until that 2019 election when you had the Northern Ireland Protocol, and even then, you know, when we got the free trade agreement with the EU, that's where things really ended, when the transition period was gone. That's when we really saw what Brexit was about. You know, Johnson's fear was reinforced when crowds banged on his car as he made his way through London. Later, when Michael Gove turned on him and declared his own candidacy to replace Mr Cameron as Tory leader and PM, he was left more distrustful of friends and even family, because let's not forget his younger brother, Joe Johnson, I think his name is, voted to remain, and I don't know how fractured the kind of relationships are in the Johnson household, but you got to remember, you know, like, the Tory party has always been split by Europe, you know, pro-Remain and pro-Leave, and David Cameron, although he didn't call out the £350 million lie on the bus, he apparently spat out his coffee. But the thing is, he couldn't call Johnson a lie because they were part of the same party. Cameron's gamble was he was going to win the referendum and unite the Tory party. The only problem is he lost the referendum and then UKIP took over the Tory party. And I don't like people who do this kind of stuff, who bang on people's cars. But the anger was aimed at Johnson. He played a huge part on the Leave team, and only did it to become PM. He wrote 2 articles, one pro-EU, one against. He thought backing Brexit would be his best bet at becoming PM, and he was right, but I doubt he thought the country would have to give up this much so he could become PM. He did, not over the rubble of this country, that would be a bit sensationalist, but, the country is struggling dramatically. Highest inflation in the G7, an economy that's stagnating, and it's only going to go into decline. And all of this, so this guy could be in charge for about, 2 years, and then he threw it all away because of Partygate and other scandals. The guy's a joke. But I guess sanity really is the price to pay for power. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.